What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy, where we have over 700 videos to help you learn. And shout out to the memberships, because you guys are seeing this video early, way before anybody else. And I just want to say that I appreciate you. Now, if you're watching this video when it actually goes live to the public, if you want to become a member, you guys can check the link in the very top of this description. But we're going to start this story off with a company that has done a lot right and a lot wrong. Let's get started.
So there was a company that used to create innovative products, and they stopped. But one of the products that they created was what they called a Fat Master blade. And it really did not catch on back then. You could have bought one, not many people worked with them. I was cutting hair when that came out. I seen it, you know, I didn't really want to give it a chance back then for some reason. But as time went on, I kind of got a little interested in it right as they discontinued it. And there was people selling their Fat Master blades for $300, even $600. I seen them on eBay. I thought it would be cool if another company made this, because obviously Andis is not going to remake the blade for reasons no one can understand. Thankfully, BlurGuard stepped up and they made this blade.
Guys, I don't think what to do here is we want to get our cam follow. What's up, you guys, and a big welcome back. Today we got a product in the mail and we're about to get started with this. How good is it? What clipper should we put it on? How do we put it on, and how do we make it perform its best? We have the BlurGuard attached to the Instinct. I did a 1 1/2 on top, so let's test the length real quick and see what it actually leaves us at. So I would say that this BlurGuard in the open position definitely gets to a 1.5 detachable, and probably pretty close to your 1.5 closed with your plastic guards. So let's try to see if we can fade this line out a little bit. This isn't really like a self-cut tutorial. I'm not really set up to do that right now, but let's just see how easy it would be. I'll start with it all the way open. I'm gonna close it about halfway now. This line's really harsh. These aren't designed to take out that really harsh line. They're designed to make us make this connection into the top. So we're looking to just kind of soften up that line, and if it succeeds in doing that, it makes a nice connection into the top. I would call this a win. And, you know, kind of spoiler alert, y'all, I have been using this and it's been freaking awesome. You know, right in the front where I got this little island starting to form, I like to cut that a little bit shorter because it makes it look like I got more hair. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do that. And if I just even use it for like front fading and weird little hairs like this is awesome. You're gonna notice that we have quite a few different Instincts. I have some Instinct X. I could try this on later. I think I'd like to put this on an Instinct, because with a lot of the Gamma and Stylecraft tools, you actually get a stretch bracket in the case. This little stretch bracket right here, it comes with the Stylecraft Instinct. That's what our BlurGuard looks like, and we're gonna take it apart right now. All right, y'all, so the first thing we wanna do is go steal some gloves from Chad, which is exactly what I just did. Okay, so here we have our digital microscope. I'm gonna turn it on. It has its own battery. You can even record from it. It's got its own little lights. It'll help light this up. But one thing that a lot of people are not talking about is if you get a hair splinter, you could literally put your hand underneath here. You could dial this in and you could get it out. And I have used it for that a bunch of times. So look at how much bigger everything gets. Stretch, baby. We'll see what cutter is best to use too. Like right now, I have a slim deep tooth cutter, which if I'm correct, my supposition is this would be the correct cutter to use. So the thing about it is, if it doesn't come with a cutter, we have to see. Okay, so inside of many of the Stylecraft boxes, you're gonna have this bag that's just full of all these extra goodies, and that's where your stretch bracket is going to be. The next thing we're gonna need is our blur. Let's see if this comes with a blade or not. Now, if ever you're gonna use your scissors that you cut hair with, use the very inside. That's not really where you typically cut hair. So let's see what we get in the box. All right. I had to guess that this probably wouldn't have come with a cutter, but there we have it. blur guard and all. Boy, these are some long teeth. So it's no wonder why we're gonna use the stretch bracket for this. Next step, we need our #1 rated screwdriver from Amazon. And honestly, guys, this thing, with all the clipper work we do here, this thing is just great. I don't think I've ever even charged it once. All right. So this is actually a pretty new Instinct, y'all. This is practically brand new. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this bracket now. So in order to get the bracket out, we just gotta take off our lever. I'll decide if I'm gonna swap levers here in a second, but we wanna keep all this together. But don't worry, if you forget how to put this all together, I'm gonna show you guys everything. If you notice, this little spring came out. That spring is actually part of your lever system. And that's the pin right there that goes in front of the spring that keeps your clicks. So if you want the clicks, you put the spring back in the hole and put the dowel pin right there. That's how you would keep your clicks. However, I was already forewarned that we can't keep our clicks if we want to put this blur guard on with our stretch bracket. So I'll take the new stretch bracket, and it's just as easy as this. We'll slide this back on. Sometimes this little washer will fall out, and if it does, it goes right back in here. You want to make sure that that washer stays there, okay? You see the little slot right here. We want to make sure that lines up with our lever. All right, so once I got it, I'll hold it like that. Boom. Grab the #1 rated screwdriver on Amazon. Hopefully find some threads. All the way down. All right. It's not super tight. Kind of tighten this up to your satisfaction here. I think I'd like it a little more tight than that. But before we assemble it, I'm gonna do one other thing. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on here. I wanna give this the best chance I can to get it to cut. Sometimes there'll be factory grease on blades, so you wanna make sure that you take care of that. I'll do the same thing for our cutter, because like I said, this is a brand new blade, y'all. I mean, I really only use this for a handful of haircuts. So it's good to get the factory grease off while we have it apart. All we want to do here is we want to get our cam follower seated and then pay attention to your little springs and make sure that they line up to the holes. Once you have it, the way I like to do it is kind of hold it down with my fingers here. We'll slap the blur guard on and we'll drop the screw in here. So now we should be able to move it a little bit still. Let's bring in our digital microscope now. I don't think there's really any point in trying to zero gap your blur guard. I think that would kind of defeat the purpose. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to pay attention to the back setting, and I want to make sure that this can get all the way down to the very bottom right there. So it's almost like I'm reverse zero gapping it. If I do that, I'm gonna have a chance at using the highest setting. If you set this too far forward, you're not gonna be able to hit that setting. I'm gonna check on my digital microscope and see if it's set even on both sides. So I see that side. Honestly, this is gonna be pretty easy. Keep your thumb with some pressure right here, and it should stay straight. We're gonna go ahead and lock this down. All right, y'all, the moment of truth. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh, it sounds good. It doesn't sound too loud. And let's check the zero gap on the other end. Wow. That looks so good and clear on this machine. So the next thing I could see myself using today is probably a taper blade, because I think if you had this, a taper blade and a faper blade, you would be able to cover pretty much all your bases up to probably pretty close to a 1.5, maybe even a 2. Let's see how it works. I cannot believe how good this is cutting. This is blowing my mind.
I have one like that. Oyster? Ulster?
Yeah, Austin.
Old school.
Oh, yeah.
That thing,
I got one.
Thing's probably like 10, 15 years old, if not more. And it's got that little lever on there. But I used to use that when I had my beard a little bit, but it's kind of big. It's not small like that. It's a big one. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The one you used to buy Walgreens or something like that.
Well, this company's kind of smart too because they just made the blade. You can put it on a bunch of different clippers.
Oh, okay.
You know, but this particular clipper comes with certain accessories in the box that allow the lever throw to be a little bit longer. So
Oh, okay.
it's pretty much like probably the better clipper to use it on. And I can't believe how good this cutter is working with this blade. I mean, I expected this to be a little bit, like I thought it would pull a little bit or it would have like a little bit of an issue. I did not expect this to cut this smooth.
Right. You see everything because you use the tools every day.
Yeah.
So, and you're using the same tool every 20 minutes. So you're going to say, wow, that did that, this did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I expected to have to move a little slower, and I expected that it wouldn't cut quite as easy. Because usually, you know, like a lot of research and development, now that I'm in on a lot of these conversations, a lot of research and development goes into these blades, mixing the perfect top blade to the perfect cutting blade. And there's a big science behind this shit.
Right.
So I just didn't think that when we slapped one that was this universal on, it would be this good.
Yeah, but for a guy like you, if they did something that, like you're wanting, and they told you, okay, that machine's going to cost you $100, or we can do it this way, it's going to cost you $125, but it's going to be this much better. You're going to buy a $125 tool
All day long.
You know what I'm saying? So why are you making it so cheap this way and this way when you can just
100%.
put a couple more dollars into it? The guy's going to want to buy it because it's like us. Do we want to go to Craftsman and buy a Craftsman tool, or you want a Snap-on tool? Okay, no, we want to go have a Snap-on tool because we know we use this tool every day.
Every day.
Okay, it's not like I'm a weekend warrior. That's different. You can do whatever you want when you do that, but this is what we do professionally every day. I want a good tool.
100% true. Because that's really the thing is like certain tools, man, like it's going to cost you more money to go cheap because it takes you longer to do the job. And like, especially like you said, you're not a weekend warrior, man. We're doing this every 20 minutes. So if I pick up a tool that takes me an extra 2-3 minutes, then where am I at the end of the day?
Right.
That's, 2-3 minutes on one 20-minute service. And then add, the day, the week, the month. You literally can't even afford to not have something, decent.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I gotta say, I'm really impressed. This is the Fast and the Furious oil, clipper oil. And man, this stuff does such a good job. But yeah, I just did my first 2 customers with this. I sort of expected to have to move a little bit slower while I was cutting. They didn't want me to film them, otherwise I would have. But I'm gonna film one here in a few minutes, but I had to move, like I thought that I was gonna have to move a little bit slower. Nah, dude, this thing, I was really surprised paired with this blade that it's cutting that good. I even did his beard. His beard was really coarse, and I wish I would have got a shot of that beard. But man, this is a great tool to use during the mustache because the teeth are so small that I'm able to get into that little hard to reach spot. So honestly, I'm not usually this excited about a product, but this is really cool. I need you to test this.
Okay.
It is so great.
You love it?
I love it, dude. You're gonna notice I have it set way back.
Right, yeah.
All right, this has been the problem with Blur Guard. They've been having trouble with this. A lot of people try to zero gap that guard, and it doesn't, what it does is it doesn't allow it to actually open up far enough.
Right.
So this is not to be zero gap. It blends perfectly with the Cyborg with the taper blade. I didn't have to touch a guard pretty much all the way up to 1.5. Fat Master blade. What are you talking about? Cut his hair again. Honestly, bro, it's like really easy to use. All right, you guys, I gotta say, I am very impressed by the Blur Guard when paired with the Instinct clipper. All I did was set it back the way I showed you guys. I have not changed the blade or manipulated it. It makes such a nice sound when it cuts. It just makes this like high-pitched, crunchy sound. You know exactly if it's cutting, where it's going, what it needs to do. And it's actually kind of changed the way I did some haircuts today. Instead, I put it in with the open position, but this is basically a 1 1/2. And I was able to kind of feather that into the parietal ridge area. And then I began closing it down, getting it close, and I found that it blended seamlessly with my taper blade, which I have on my Cyborg clipper over there. This is probably gonna work for me going forward, and I like it so much that I might try to get another one and put it on my Instinct X. because it might be cool to work with 2 of those instead of the smaller one. But really, really good, and not even really that loud. I mean, this isn't crazy. I could live with this. I mean, listen to it.
So I'm not going to lie and say there isn't some type of learning curve. In fact, on this particular client, I had a fight on the other side of his head. I went back and forth and back and forth, and finally I got it. But as I started to work with this more, I got more comfortable. I figured out how to use it, where and when to use it, and I really started to come up with some pretty nice haircuts without using as many guards. So like you can see on Daniel here, this is the ideal situation, the detailing. I mean, it makes it so easy to do this detailing. You just have to pay attention that when you move your lever, it's not moving as much as you're used to.
So I know a lot of you guys are sitting here watching, thinking, I'd like to start my own YouTube channel. And you should. There's some serious financial gains. Look, this YouTube channel has been both fun, rewarding, and just all the way around, it's kind of got to a point where even I can't believe it. But in order to build it, I needed time. And that's why I want to shout out the sponsor of today's video. You guys can head over to bookedin.com/Eddie and redeem your offer for 50% off the first 3 months. It's my scheduling app. I've been with them for over 3 years. They're just a great company. And all in all, the service works awesome and I love it. So with that being said, we filmed this video quite a while ago actually. And these guys have actually kind of grown to really like the blur guard on the Instinct clipper. So specifically Kenny, when I handed him that one earlier in the video and you guys seen him kind of looking at it funny, he has really gravitated towards it. In fact, it's almost always on his station. And I don't know why I never made this video or released it, because I found all this footage when I was on my way to California, which if you guys missed that vlog, you're really gonna miss out. If you've ever considered working with a company, being on stage, going to a show, or possibly doing some in-person education, you're gonna pick up a lot in this video. These guys were thrown into the flames, and I guess you'll have to see when you watch that video. But other than that, man, I do like the blur guard. I think it rocks. I think it's really a great thing. If you guys have an Instinct, you're gonna need a stretch bracket to put it on. Any of our clippers with a stretch bracket, you can put it on. Of course, you guys can use the code Eddie. You can save 15% off with Stylecraft, and for all other things, you guys can head over to Williamsport Barber Supply, use the code Eddie, and save 10%. I'll catch you guys in my follow-up video. And shout out to the members for getting to see this video early. If you guys would like to become a member, you can simply click the link in the description. It is the top link, and you guys can join up on the membership so you can watch content like this early and exclusive content just for you guys. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.